My name is Michael Dana. In 2008, I was diagnosed with a rare brain cancer, and after 6 years, I was cancer-free. But the ordeal left me changed, with a different outlook on life and a new sense of priorities. While still recovering, I earned a degree in economics from UNC Chapel Hill. My studies taught me to analyze data and open my mind to see things differently. I also started formal training in the martial arts to better defend myself and use it as a means of extreme physical therapy. Since then, I've obtained black belts in 3 martial arts. I own and run a martial arts school and have logged over 51 teaching hours. To my friends and family, I'm a simple business owner. But to the martial arts world, I'm something else. I am Sifu Mike, and this is Dragon Theory.
How's it going, guys? I'm Sifu Mike. In this episode, I'm talking about the McDojo. Alright? So, another episode on the business aspect of the martial arts. This time, talking more about the McDojo. My nunchucks and the fry thing. They need salt, really. So, I'm going to put these down out of the way. So, I got both hands free so I can talk. Alright? Because I like to talk. And I'm talking today about the McDojo. Alright, in Taekwondo they call it the McDojang, right? It's just, they're relating a martial arts school to McDonald's because it makes a lot of money, right? It's kind of a derogatory term in the industry to refer to schools that basically are like belt factories and make a whole bunch of money and stuff like that. Being in totally truthful with you guys, that happens everywhere at almost every different level. So you see it a lot in kids that just kind of get ranked for just existing and being on the mat and paying a certain amount of money, so the instructor gives them a rank and they're like, yay, I got a rank, I'm this, I'm that, or whatever like that. And they call that a McDojo. They're just trying to make money, right? Well, most martial arts after black, they don't really have anything for them, so it's kind of like after a couple years of you just existing and paying a certain amount of money, they give you another degree of black. It's like the same thing. You're there, you've got, the time in, and you pay money, and they give you a belt, and they call that a McDojo. Right. What's funny is that they don't call that for like the black belts path, but they do for like the younger ones. It's just really any martial arts school that is trying to make as much money as they can. And when you think about it, that is every martial arts school. Every martial arts school would fall into the category of being a money-grubbing McDojo. Okay. They're either a McDojo or they're a Sparring King, as in like McDonald's and Burger King. And if you see my episode on sparring and how it's used in the business context, you'll understand why I say, hey, they're a Sparring King. They're making as much money as they can because they gotta pay bills. That's the thing. They're still a business. Alright? And so, they, like I said, any successful school, they're gonna be like, that's a McDojo. Right? If they do mostly sparring and it's adults, that's a Sparring King. Okay, these derogatory terms for a business that is making as much money as they can, like I said, to pay bills. There's nothing remotely wrong about that. In fact, in my opinion, almost every single school or every single martial art, for the most part, is not a 100% self-defense martial art. Alright, if they have a successful school, they're not teaching 100% self-defense, right? They might be doing stuff like daycare service, parties, or whatever like that for little kids, have an incredible kids program, or they're doing a lot of sport and they don't even realize it, okay? They're not wrong, they just might be ignorant because it's totally different, okay? But they're not 100% self-defense. That is incredibly complicated, and the techniques that you use for it are incredibly simple, which means you cannot get people paying tuition a lot for a long period of time for something that is very simple. right? You have to have something else in there, which is why a lot of martial arts way back in the day incorporated a good amount of fitness. In fact, fitness was like the main part of most martial arts before they were ever considered a fighting art, right? That was like the biggest thing. And somehow, in the last 100 years, we completely dropped the ball on that sucker and let the entire fitness industry just kind of blow up. They took one aspect of martial arts and made an entire industry that's massively bigger, much bigger than the martial arts industry. Alright, we're that good at our own stuff, right? Is that we let a part of it go and someone else took that, ran, and made a butt ton more money than we could ever hope to do. And so I'm saying all this in a very sarcastic voice because, hey, dude, I'm right here I'm in the martial arts industry, right? So I'm letting you guys know about this whole deal as far as trying to just make money. It's a business aspect, all right? Giving a belt for simply existing and simply being there, all right? Everybody does it in one way, shape, or form, or they do the other thing where they just have a lot of working the situation and not actually teaching the techniques because they get people to be there for long periods of time, or they get injured and they have bought or signed a contract and they're going to pay regardless of actually ever being there. Or they have ridiculous rules where you have to put in a certain amount of time before you can ever get a rank, which is really just a signification, representation of your knowledge within that particular school. Alright? That's, if you ask any high-level black belt, a black belt is nothing but the basics of the martial art. Okay? And so, like, these little steps to black, alright, are just levels of knowledge that you have to learn before you get the basics of the martial art. It's kind of ridiculous, but it also showcases the almost ignorance of a lot of people as far as McDonald's is concerned. Alright, so I'm going to give you a brief little history lesson. I'm not going to use names or dates or anything like that. It's a very general history lesson. It was actually partly, this whole thing was inspired because I watched a docudrama called Founders, right? It's about McDonald's, right? It has Michael Keaton and it's pretty cool. It's a fun movie, but it really kind of opened my eyes to what is actually McDonald's. And so I looked into it, started doing some research, and sure enough, man, a lot of that movie is very accurate. And so the thing is, McDonald's made a crap ton of money. Everyone associates McDonald's with making a crap ton of money, but they don't understand why they made a crap ton of money. And mostly, the reason is because their business model was to purchase the property that their businesses are on. Alright, so from a business aspect, there's two main costs, the two biggest costs of any business of scale. It's going to be your labor and it's going to be your rent, right? Well, they turned rent into an asset, into a mortgage. They have their property, and then they franchised out and said, hey, you can have a you can have a restaurant, but you gotta do our rules, our thing, everything like that. You gotta meet these franchise requirements, and you gotta be on our property. So you gotta pay us rent for being there. Beautiful. So there's actually two different levels of McDonald's. There's like the corporate level that owns the property, and then there's a franchise owner. Okay? And in some cases, they're the same, right? You can totally own every aspect of your franchise, right? Pretty cool. That's how they make money. Like, they're one of the largest property holders in the U.S. because they own all the property. So they managed to flip that and turn it into something that is an asset. It appreciates, right? And you can borrow money off of that as far as your mortgage is concerned. It's very good game plan and an exceptionally good business model. One that not a single martial arts school is doing, alright? There's very few places that actually own the property that they're on, right? The ones that are, their property is like their house. So I made again, watch all my videos, man, because I made another reference to the fact that like some martial arts schools are garage, right, or back room in their house or whatever like that, or basement. So they own their property so that they eliminate that extra cost of having to pay rent. It's just labor, right? So that's really how they made a lot of the money. But the thing that everyone focuses on is the fast food aspect. Now, way back in the day when they first started, they had this idea that they were going to make their food consistent and fast, right? So it's going to be fast, but it's always going to be the same time every single time you order. They even had like a stopwatch, right? So you order, from order to getting your food, it's going to be a certain amount of time. So they made it consistent, right? That is what you want to do in any martial art, is that you want to make stuff consistent. You want to be fast, repetition is good, and then they made it super efficient. They broke down a very complicated task into individual parts and then delegated those individual parts to people, so that it made learning things very easy because they had one task. They only had to be responsible for one thing at a time, and they had a process it's almost like a factory, right? And so there's like a line that everything goes, this person does this person does that. So they made it efficient and easy to learn, all right? And easy to teach. You only had to teach this one thing. You only had to learn this one thing, right? That is literally what every martial art should be doing, is making their stuff, their complicated stuff, because a lot of them are sports and they're very complicated, and making it simple. Breaking it down and being like, hey, learn this one aspect, then you learn this aspect, then you learn this aspect, making it efficient, right? Like all their goals for making food are exactly the same as what should be done with martial arts, with the techniques, and as far as breaking stuff down. Because the thing is, think about it, they did this, not only did they revolutionize the food service industry, but they created an entirely new industry in the form of fast food, right? They literally changed the game. So if martial arts industry did the same thing, not only would they revolutionize their own industry, the industry that I'm in, but we could like create a whole new thing, a thing that people have never seen before. Like I've been saying it throughout all of my videos, is that everything could be so much better, so much potential here. I mean, think about it, man. If you, like I said before, a lot of martial arts pattern after the collegiate schools. Well, most colleges have the exact same stuff, right? They're going to teach all the same material, all right? It's just a degree from one place is better than a degree from another place. Every place has a different prestige to it. A degree from Harvard is going to carry a whole lot more weight than a degree from a town that nobody's ever heard of, right? They're making it efficient and getting a lot of people through there, and that is how they're getting money. The thing is, when you revolutionize your system, when you make it like they did, right, money was the result. Their idea was not to get a whole bunch of money. Their idea was to make the food service efficient and fast and consistent. And that is exactly what they did. Money was a result. And then came the whole property ownership thing later. That actually was a different dude. And so it's a whole big thing. Watch that movie. It's actually a good movie. But like, money was a result. So if you get people through your system and you're just rolling them through, then money is going to be a result. And you're going to have a lot of black belts in a lot of different martial arts and in the same martial arts. But the thing is, what's going to happen is that somebody's going to go, oh, well, you only got your black belt from this school. It's not going to be as good as this school, right? You want that kind of level. Instead, you've got people who don't even know how to pronounce the martial art that you do, right? They don't know anything about it. They could be something off of a menu at a restaurant. Again, I've rehashing a lot of my older videos. So make sure to watch all my older videos because literally everything could be better, everything could be worse depending on how you look at it. So if you call me a McDojo, I'm like, cool, because I know the history of McDonald's and what they did is what I'm trying to do in my own school as far as simplifying things, making it efficient, making it consistent, right? It's all there. Anyways, my school, by the way, is Tactical Kung Fu and Mixed Martial Arts in Durham, North Carolina. If you can't come to that, be sure to check out all my videos on my YouTube channel, YouTube/tkfmma. You can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Okay, I gotta remember all my social medias. They're all tkfmma. My website, tkfmma.com. And I've even got another website called thedragonmethod.com. Okay, that's thedragonmethod.com. And in that, I've got like over 24 hours of video tutorials on all things martial arts. Trying to give you all the information I possibly can aside from these guys. I'm going to teach you like how to punch, kick, throw people and all that jazz, man. Everything is there. So be sure to check that out, especially now because I'm currently running a special where I'm literally just giving it away for free. Okay, you have a trial membership that you can get, and it's going to be good for a long time. So you can just binge all you want and watch all of those videos on thedragonmethod.com. Alright, so be sure to like this video, share it, subscribe. There are buttons everywhere, bells, someplace. I never actually know, I just know they exist. Make sure you subscribe. I'm very close to getting 200, by the way, which is really cool. You guys are awesome, right? So, like I said, man, check me out, subscribe. I'm going to have more of these to come. Alright, guys. Take it easy.